Hey there. I'm excited to share with you some of my favorite manhwas and why I enjoy them so much. Today, we'll dive into one with complex characters and an emotional plot. Hope you enjoy, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ding that bell if you enjoyed this. Our tale begins in a small, run-down apartment on the poorer side of town. Inside, a little girl no older than 8 looks up at her disheveled mother with pleading eyes. The air hangs heavy with resentment as the woman unleashes a tirade of slurred accusations against the poor child. She speaks of once being a woman of status, having married into luxury and nobility, but crushing debt drove the family to ruin. To escape this, her husband fled across the seas, abandoning them to poverty and exile. The girl cowers as her mother drowns her sorrows in another glass, cursing her lost fortunes. She declares life would have been easier had the girl never been born. Without a daughter as a burden, she could have simply remarried and left the past behind. Stung by those words, the girl fights back tears that threaten to spill down her dirty cheeks. Her small hands tremble as she attempts to maintain composure beyond her years. She smiles and agrees that her mother is right, though she dares not voice it. In her eyes, this bitter drunkard is not the mother she once knew. In her heart and memories is the image of a radiant and beautiful goddess, the mother she remembers, who could light up a room with her smile. She was both a fairy and an angel. Her incredible mother is the most beautiful woman in the world, and she is everything to her. She believes her mother only changed because of their difficult life. She recalls instances of having to support her mother staggering home drunk, enduring shouts of anger, and even times when her mother spent all her hard-earned money on alcohol. Despite all of this, the little girl has high hopes that her mother's behavior is only temporary and that she will change back to her wonderful self when her father returns. Her imagination returns to better days in the future. With rose-colored glasses, she pictures her father's long-awaited homecoming, arms overflowing with gifts. In her mind, she runs gleefully into his open arms as he showers them with newfound wealth. The little girl flashes a bright smile, imagining her father's return. The hope in her eyes clashes against her dire surroundings as the little girl scrubs the floors of the tavern that employs her small hands. Despite her situation, her faith in her mother remains unshaken, believing this temporary darkness will soon pass when fortune smiles upon them once more. The little girl finishes a grueling day's labor, exhausted and fatigued. Though her tender years should be spent playing, her mantra continues to ring in her mind. Hardship builds character. Wise words once uttered by a struggling shoeshine boy now uplift her through her daily trials. Along her path, we witness the destitute slums her impoverished life is confined to. Women fighting and pulling each other's hair, drunkards passed out on the ground, and a thief running away with his spoils. As she navigates past squalor and danger, she allows herself a rare, fanciful thought of the mouth-watering bread for sale from a local bakery. The enticing aromas of fresh loaves hot from the oven make her stomach growl. Her daily pittance could generously afford to indulge this simple pleasure, but a gnawing worry in her mind reminds her of unpaid debts, which could put them back out on the streets. Her youthful imagination begins to take flight, recreating what happened a month ago. She pictures their surly landlord as an evil, pig-faced monster, his potato-like features twisted in fury as he demanded his money. And her mother, a graceful fairy queen who boldly cries, "Begone, foul swine, we have not your money." Jaded, the pig-faced monster pounces in attack, and the little girl swiftly stands between her mother and the attacker. The little girl hits the wall with a bang, reminding us of the harsh realities she faces. In the end, all she could do was try to block out their hateful confrontation by turning up her mental radio to play music. Decidedly, she tells herself that saving their meager budget is the wise path for now. So half a loaf will have to do, even if her stomach protests. Her weary steps carry her small frame home. She arrives to see her mother asleep in a liquor-soaked slumber. She treads gently so as not to wake her sleeping form. Carefully, she pries open a loose floorboard, her child's eyes lighting up at the sight of the treasures within. This, her precious secret savings, gives flight to her dreams beyond their impoverished lives. Visions of chickens laying eggs, goats, cows, and horses parade through her mind, bringing her hope for a more financially stable future. While the little girl dreams of her future, her mother dreams as well. The form on the bed stirs restlessly, locked in the throes of unseen nightmares. Flames engulf the once regal beauty as shadowy figures rain stones of condemnation upon her. She feels the scorching heat coming from the flames below her tied feet. She is unmoving, unable to escape her bonds. Then, complete darkness. Gears slowly inch and move from their static state. The gears of time now turn and creak as if shifting inside her mind. Suddenly, her eyes fly open with a start. She emerges violently from the visions, shaken wide awake by a dream. The mother suddenly awakens in a cold panic, eyes wild as she thrashes out of her twisted nightmares. The child startles at this strange, shrieking figure on the bed. Her mother gasps desperately for help. So, the little girl rushes to her mother's side, her trembling hands reaching out for her. The mother falls from the bed and grabs the little girl's arm. She stares intently at the child, sweat falling from her face. Fearing the alcohol has stolen her mother's mind, the daughter embraces her. Her mother suddenly speaks, asking where she is. Stunned, the little girl can only stare and assure her that she is her daughter. Kneeling on the floor, the mother repeats her daughter's words, stating that the child is much younger than she remembers. Shrieking like a mad woman, the mother staggers towards the window and sees that they live in the slums. Immediately, the mother turns her head and walks straight towards the little girl. The girl flinches, afraid of what her mother might do. She sees the image of the landlord as her mother towers in front of her. Bracing for impact, the little girl closes her eyes. But no violence comes. Instead, the mother seizes the child's face, weeping words of relief. Tears fall from the mother's blue eyes and land on her daughter's cheeks. The mother exclaims relief and happiness that her daughter is still alive. She apologizes to her child, her face glowing with guilt and tears. The child is stunned and unable to speak. Is this her mother? She continues to listen to her mother's words of regret and apologies, and the little girl can't believe her ears. "I love you, my Lyrica." Sweat falls from the little girl's temple. She continues to tell herself that this is a dream, while watching her mother tremble and cry. And then it clicks. Tears suddenly trickle from the little girl's green eyes. She finally accepts that somehow her real mother has returned, expressing genuine love and affection as she hugs her daughter tight. Lyrica finds comfort again in her mother's arms. Some time passes, and though both their eyes are swollen from crying, mother and daughter now laugh together. The little girl feels happy, but also worried. Will this last? Or will her mother go back to how she was before? Her mother interrupts her concerns by asking what the date is. Upon learning it is the day of the imperial ball, her mother's face becomes determined. She announces firmly that she will attend the ball to meet the emperor,